Hello, Doctor. I hope it isn't an imposition, Judge.
Not at all. I've often wondered what is back of these grim doors.
Oh, it's exactly what you'd expect. 1890. Excellent taste, inherited wealth. The faith of our forefathers.
It's not always what meets the eye, gentlemen. When you see my Aunt Matilda, you'll understand why I sometimes think I live in a booby hatch.
Then it's too bad. I used to walk by here with my father on the way to the cathedral when I was a kid. I remember how the carriage with green lamps stood outside. Span of chestnuts in park harness.
Footman holding the bridle, lackey at the carriage door.
The coachman up on the box, waiting to take the old Wall Street pirate and his 2 daughters to church.
Now you can see why I'd give anything to avoid a court action. She's such a lovely old heirloom, despite her eccentricities.
I always ring that gong, gentlemen, to warn people to stop talking about me behind my back.
Aunt Matilda, this is Judge Alston and Dr. Doremus.
I expected the judge. But why the doctor? Do you wish to take my pulse?
Oh, no, Miss Reed. I'm a psychiatrist.
Oh, you live by your wits. That isn't an insult. I love men who live by their wits.
Tea is served.
Oh, no. Just a minute. My bluebirds. William? Robert? Now, ready? And now, gentlemen, shall we have our tea? Doctor, over there, please. Judge Alston. Philip? I understand, Judge Alston. Philip wishes to spare me the ordeal of a court hearing.
This is purely an informal visit, Miss Reed. Nothing official, I assure you.
Well, I won't let you drag me into court.
I have no intention of ordering you into court.
You think Judge Alston's afraid if I go to his court, I'll find out how crazy everybody else is?
The judge makes sense sometimes.
All right. I'll make sense. Lemon or cream?
Lemon, please.
Make mine cream.
Do you mind if I just have a drink, Aunt Matilda?
We have no license to transport whiskey. You see, this railroad system was founded when my boys were little.
Your boys?
Didn't Philip tell you I have 3 sons?
Oh, he told me you once adopted 3 wards.
No. They were sons. Michael, Mario, and Jonathan. I suppose you're wondering about these little trains. They belong to my sons. In the old days, up in the playroom when tea time came, we always played railroad to bring their food to them. But lately, it's been a little too much of an effort for me to play with them down on my hands and knees, so It's fun pretending that my boys are here with me at the big table. Would you say that's crazy?
No one minds if you play trains, Aunt Matilda. But it's these other things. A little item of $1,675,000 in the past 9 months. She bought $500,000 worth of dead rats.
I gave a great many poor children $1 apiece for catching those rats. And they gave me this medal. It's worth $500,000 to me.
And that camp for the unhappily married, $750,000. And she only prevented one divorce, a blacksmith and his wife.
I got this ring for that. Of course, it's only made out of a horseshoe nail, but it was made by a very happy blacksmith. It is worth $750,000 to me. If you want to know where the rest of the money went, there's a diploma out there in the front hall.
And when I think how hard I worked to build up those income properties, that rayon plant in Canada.
And the rubber plantation up the Amazon, yes. Philip has managed very well.
Then why, Miss Matilda, can't you settle all this amicably without a lot of dull court procedure? It'll be so simple to make Philip administrator of the entire estate.
Oh, no. Philip has done well, but the bulk of my estate? Oh, no.
Then whom would you trust?
Any one of my 3 sons.
I'd like very much to meet them.
Indeed, you must.
Where are they?
Oh, haven't the faintest idea.
She probably wouldn't even recognize him now. That's what's so pathetic, Judge Alston. Aunt Matilda adopted 3 boys, gave them every advantage that she gave me, and then when they grew up, they walked out on her.
And you haven't heard from them since?
They refused to sponge on me. They decided to go out in the world and make their own way.
Didn't you try and stop them?
I love them for it. We'll be all right, they said, so don't try to find us. But if you ever need us, we'll be there. That's the kind of men my sons are, and I respected their wishes. Now, if you were suggesting that I turn my affairs over to one of my boys...
You would trust a fortune of millions to boys you once befriended, from whom you haven't heard in years?
Yes, and you would, too, if you could meet them.
But how can I meet them?
Drop in for a cup of punch on Christmas Eve. I'll have them here, right by the tree. Then you can judge for yourself.
On Christmas Eve?
That's the time when families are together. And now, gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, all this talk of money has made me a little tired.
It was awfully nice of you, Miss Matilda, to let us drop in.
Don't forget to be here on Christmas Eve.
Good evening, Miss Reed. From the United and Benevolent Order of Scrub Women.
$440,000.
I've seen enough.
She's a very interesting old lady.
Admittedly, Judge, I'm no financial wizard, but proposing to bring back one of those 3...
Yeah, on Christmas Eve.
Wouldn't even recognize them.
That fast train, madam. That would be Mr. Michael's, wouldn't it?
Yes. And if Michael knew what they were trying to do, he'd come speeding back to me. Fast. Michael always did like the fast things in life.
Come in. Put it over there. No. You put it over here by the love seat.
First, you'll have to come over here to get it.
Thank you, sir.
Hey.
Oh, come in and get it over with.
It must be a lot easier with snow on the ground.
Well, you're going to make that maid lose her job.
Silly boy, I told her I was your wife. You, expecting somebody?
Natch.
Who is she?
Now, look. If you want a glass of wine, go on down to the bar, order a quart, and sign my name.
I think you better order another glass. And another quart.
Let's drink to it. So you are getting out of here. For good.
Not me.
Now, I told you yesterday we were through. Finished.
I love you.
Yeah, I know. You told me.
What's the matter, Dreamboat? Didn't you have your vitamins this morning? What's she got that I haven't got? I'll do anything for you. I'll learn to use those snowshoes. I'd jump off the highest mountain.
I don't want you to jump. Just ride downstairs in the elevator by yourself. But quick. Break your arm, or are you going to put those things back, or shall I throw you out the window? Get in there.
I'll get it, dear.
Package from Mr. Michael Brooks from the jeweler in the lobby.
Darling, this is how much I love you. Think about me while I'm on the way up. Don't stand there slipping a buck. What do you suppose was in it?
Here. Harry.
Oh. But, Michael, the room. I thought you'd be packed by now.
Oh, well, she just came by to help me pack. This is my sister, Anne.
Oh, how nice. I'm Harriet. I'm Michael's fiancée.
Fiancé?
Why, of course. Didn't you tell her we were going to be married this afternoon?
Yes, that's why I asked her around to tell her that we were going to get married.
Well, we haven't much time, Michael. We wouldn't want to keep the minister waiting, would we?
No, I'll say we wouldn't. Well, go ahead and pack.
You pack him this time, and I'll take it from here on in. Don't forget his long flannels.
Why don't you thank her for the lovely present?
Oh, darling, it's just what I wanted.
A little gold locket with my picture in it.
I loved it.
Look, you don't have to hide your relatives. I've got a few myself that we don't let out until after dark.
Don't mind me. I'm the orphan that Aunt Matilda didn't adopt.
Some champagne, dear? Here, sis.
Darling, you're too extravagant, but you're wonderful. Sapphires are my weakness. And this beautiful sable coat.
Oh, just a few little wedding presents. Darling, I'm awfully sorry that she had to drop in here.
If we don't get out of here, she'll try and go on our honeymoon with us.
True. How true. That's grand. I'll tell Anne where to forward my stuff, and I'll just take an overnight suitcase. Darling, could you spare me just one moment?
Yes.
What's the idea of bringing my clothes in here?
Aren't you the lady that sent me up here with this? Came sailing out the window and hit the doorman right on the head.
Thank you.
Now, is that nice? I'm supposed to be in here talking to my sister, and I'll have to go back in there with cherry pie all over my face.
I'm not going to let you marry her. What's the matter with me? Haven't we had fun? Don't you love me?
Look, sweetheart, of course I love you. But my marriage to Harriet, that's destiny. 2 wealthy families. So, here I go.
You're not going anywhere. I'm going out there and toss her through that big
Here,
window.
come here. Come here.
Did you arrange things with your little sister?
Everything's all set. What do you say we have a loving cup with Anne before we go?
Not I. I wouldn't be a sister if I didn't tell this lady that she's making a big mistake. You're not the marrying type, Michael.
I wouldn't say that, Anne. It's been my experience with husbands. He's the perfect marrying type.
It may interest you to
It may
know.
interest you to know.
Ladies, please.
All right. It may interest me to know that Anne's not your sister.
Now, look, Harriet, I can explain everything.
Terribly sorry about all this, Michael. The moment I laid eyes on you, I said, that's the guy. But I'm selfish enough to want you just for me. Thank you for all these beautiful presents. And take good care of your little sister.
I knew she was yellow.
I'm going to break every bone in your body.
Michael, if you were just a few jumps ahead of the sheriff, I wouldn't have let that money bags get out of here, honest. I would have taken a powder. If that's another rich widow, I'll... Hello.
Mr. Philip Hastings is calling on Mr. Brooks.
Oh, give me. Tell him I can't be disturbed.
He's already on his way up.
Well, stop the elevator. Pull him out. I won't see him.
Send us the dinner menu, please.
Okay.
Aren't you hungry? Maybe I'd better...
No, no, you don't. You're so good at getting rid of people. Just try your hand on this bird.
Where have you been all these years, Michael?
I've been fine.
I didn't ask you how you'd been.
And I didn't say where I'd been.
I wouldn't even have known that you were here. But I ran into Dickinson at the club the other night. He's president of the Madison Bank, now you know.
Oh, well, Philip, we'll have to get together one of these days and hear about the boys. But right now...
Aren't you going to introduce me?
Oh, this is Mr. Philip Hastings, Miss Ann Nelson. Philip is Aunt Matilda's nephew.
That sort of makes you first cousins, doesn't it? Well, isn't this cozy? Won't you stay for dinner? The menu's coming right up.
And Philip is one of the busiest men in New York. He manages Aunt Matilda's estate.
Only part of it. No, I really can't stay for dinner, Miss Nelson, but I never pass up the chance of a glass of wine with a pretty girl.
Yeah.
Still the best of everything, eh, Michael?
Michael's got to have the best, you know.
Oh, Philip, an occasional bottle of wine.
If it were only an occasional bottle of wine. But that's why I'm here, Michael. Just a chance to remark that Dickinson made at the club about your bank account.
Perhaps I'd better go.
No, please, stay where you are. You see, Michael, Aunt Matilda's getting along. We just cannot put her through another shock. If that sainted old lady knew that Michael was back here in town and had cashed $75,000 in bad checks...
Michael has been bouncing rubber?
Well, Philip, I did have a deal, and I was about to wrap it up this afternoon, but something happened.
I know, Michael, I know. You always have a rainbow just around the corner. He just can't go on doing things this way. He can't pay $32,000 for a sable coat. He can't buy a sapphire wristwatches. Those things get around.
Yes, and they usually get around the wrong people.
Now, Philip, you know that you have to send money after money, and at the time, they seem like good investments. Can I help it if a pal ratted on me at the psychological moment that I was about to close the deal?
Mr. Hastings, if I had known about this terrible expense...
Of course, my dear. I'm not criticizing you. But I know that you can get an elegant cloth coat, smart, for around $135, and a wristwatch to charm any girl for $49.50.
All right. So I've got $75,000 worth of rubber smoking up the town. What are we going to do about it?
I hope you won't go to Aunt Matilda.
No. But about that deal I had this afternoon, I still think there's a chance that...
Not a chance, Michael, not a chance.
Who asked your opinion?
Oh, please. I didn't come out here to start a squabble between a pair of lovebirds. You know, I almost envy Michael. Sapphires, sables, vintage champagnes. I sometimes wish I'd spent a little more money. got those checks from Dickinson. 75,000 out of my own pocket.
Philip, you? You picked up those checks out of your own pocket?
I'd rather take the loss myself than involve Aunt Matilda. She's an old lady, Michael. It would kill her to read that you'd been put in jail.
Philip, I'm going to walk into your office next week and buy those checks back.
I hope you do, Michael. I'll just hold them for you. I enjoyed the wine.
$75,000 without a whimper. Hasn't it all turned out wonderful?
Oh, you're crazy.
Oh, Michael, I thought I was going to lose you because you're a rich man, and now you haven't got a quarter. Isn't it wonderful?
Thank you all for being kind enough to come here and humor the vagaries of an old woman. I'm sure that through this worldwide publicity, we shall find my 3 sons. And I hope the ghost of my sainted father will forgive me for having newspaper people in his house.
Would you say Mr. Hastings, your nephew, was back at the surrogate's visit?
Oh, the surrogate made it quite clear that his call was merely as a family friend.
Well, in other words, Philip Hastings tried to put the pressure on you.
Refreshments, madam. Served.
Well, let's go.
Tell me more about this nephew, Philip, and what was the surrogate's real attitude?
He thinks I'm crazy.
Morning, Mr. Brooks.
Morning.
You imagine that? They say the old lady's crazy. The whole world's crazy.
Natch.
Read all about it in the papers, mister. Well, did you know they were trying to put the old lady away? Imagine living in a gloomy mansion like that. I'd go nuts. Just seeing that guy Philip every day. He's probably the one that's driving her crazy. You know, Michael, it's too bad the old lady can't have a fling now and again with you. Do her good. Waltzing around dance floors.
Philip paid off those checks out of his own pocket. He said he did it because he wanted to spare Aunt Matilda the shock at this time.
You can sit there not caring if they lock her up in a padded cell. It's just my luck. Carrying the torch for a man who's mean enough to see an old lady go with a booby hatch without raising a finger. Philip's managing her estate. That guy who was so sweet.
So Philip shelled out 75 G's because he knows they're going to try and put Aunt Matilda in the booby hat. Who's trying to put Aunt Matilda in the booby hat? I'm asking.
Don't sit there, rob a bank. I'll help you. Get those checks back from that heel of a nephew. Don't let them think the old lady was crazy enough to raise a big grafter like you. Philip's a snake. That baby-faced chisel who buys cheap wristwatches. Suppose you do go to jail for a little while. Pretty magazine.
Philip paid all that dough to get a stranglehold on me. If I could only get those checks back. Smart boy, that Philip.
I don't care if we live under the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't expect people to be on the level about little things, but this. Well, don't sit there like that. Do something.
Come on. We're going to call him Cousin Philip. Waiter. Waiter.
Well, Mr. Brooks.
Good morning. Yeah. You just sit here, baby, and learn all about the Navajo Indians.
They'll be lucky to get out of here with their wigwams.
Philip, after reading the morning papers, I think I figured out your angle on those bum checks.
Well, the papers are wrong. I don't want any more responsibility about Matilda's estate than I've got.
But, Philip,
Don't come here accusing me of trying to take over more of Aunt Matilda's fortune than she's already heaped upon my shoulders. It turned my hair gray making this rayon factory in Canada pay off. And that rubber plant up the Amazon. I got malaria there. I picked up your checks only to save Aunt Matilda further shock.
Then I guess you're right, dropping me that $75,000 hint to get out of town. I don't suppose I'd make much of a showing at Aunt Matilda's hearing, especially if the surrogate got his hooks into me.
Now you're getting at the heart of the thing, Michael.
I dare say the further away I am, the better it will be for Aunt Matilda. But I do want to work out that debt I owe you. So, what shall it be? Canada or the Amazon?
For heaven's sake, stay away from those dreadful places.
But, Philip, I haven't got a button.
We'll make the girl hawk the sable coat and the sapphire watch.
Oh, the girl that got those. She's just water over the dam.
What'd you do with the body?
Will you marry me?
Did you go in there and tap him again?
And after we married, $10,000 worth of Palm Springs.
Thought you were going to punch him in the nose.
Horseback riding in the moonlight, winter fruit, desert sun, bingo in the lounge.
Well, you finally taught me a lesson.
Always glad to help a girl out.
It's been nice knowing you, Michael.
I've had 1,000 calls since you brought in the newspaper people. I make a friendly visit and suddenly find myself accused of trying to railroad you into an asylum.
But I had to take a long chance. How else can my sons know that I'm in trouble?
You wouldn't be in trouble if you'd only stop these eccentricities.
But you don't understand.
Dear Miss Reed, it is you who don't understand. If you make it appear that I'm trying to deprive you of your freedom in some sort of unethical way...
I've told you, Judge, that you can't stop her. You see, now the judge has got to take this into court.
Don't put words into my mouth, Philip. If you persist in this hue and cry, you'll force me to do what I came here off the record to avoid.
Then I assure you that I won't do it. And I'm very sorry if I've caused you any embarrassment. But don't forget that you promised to drop by on Christmas Eve.
Yes, I promised. Providing you do nothing further...
No, of course not. So don't worry about it. And I will have my sons here on Christmas Eve.
Heard it all, dear lady. That's my trade. A private peeper with a near-forever keyhole.
Yes, well, pour yourself a drink and then make your report.
Thanks. Got some news for you, dear lady.
Good.
Located your playboy.
Michael's here. He's in New York. And he'll be here Christmas Eve, I know it.
Not a chance, dear lady. Some checks bounced right back in his face, and he had to blow town.
Checks? Bounced?
Yeah, bad checks. Just when he had a deal all set to marry a lady by the name of Harriet Rhodes.
Harriet Rhodes. All the money in the world wouldn't make Michael marry that money bag.
Well, he could have done with some of her money before he disappeared.
Michael was never a bad boy. He should have come here. What about the others? What about Mario?
I'm getting through to some pals of his.
And they know where he is?
Maybe they know, but they dumb me up.
Huh?
He ain't talking, see? But I'm working on it.
Maybe he's so far away, he hasn't heard about me. Darling,
It's about time.
I'll never go away again.
Señor Mario! Gracias, gracias. Mira, mamá, mira. Oh, qué bueno.
It wasn't any fun without you there.
I thought you loved the mountains.
I thought so, too. But in the mountains, I loved only you. Oh, we're not dining at your club tonight, darling. I thought it'd be nicer at my little house. Just the two of us.
I've got to stop by my place first.
Then I go with you. You see, I'm not going to let you out of my sight.
Can I talk to you a minute, Jack?
Sure. Excuse me.
It's an FBI guy in your office. I figured you didn't want anything like that waiting around outside.
Tell him I'll be right in. Give me 2 minutes, please.
All right, but not 1 second more.
Sit down.
Mm-hmm. Hurry.
Sorry, he didn't offer you a drink.
Thanks, he did. But I never drink when I'm working.
Thanks for warning me. Be glad to give you a record of anything I say to an FBI man.
Look, fella, you're not my pigeon. I didn't fly down here to nail you. You wouldn't like to be in New York? Walk into the Stork Club, see everybody?
I've just seen everybody. She came in on the evening train. So if you'll make it snappy.
I suppose you can guess the business I'm on down here.
In my business, we don't play guessing games. Especially in front of the FBI. And besides,
Go on. Say the rest of it. I've no authority down here to make you guess.
Saves me the trouble of asking you that.
Still, it's a pretty good deal living in the States. Uncle Sam might appreciate your help.
What help?
Well, we need a little assistance.
I'm no stooge for the cops. Here or anywhere else. This is a swell country. I'll be glad to introduce you to the Minister of Police.
I forgot to ask you one question. You ever hear of Gus Reichman? That's his picture.
I never saw the guy before.
Back in Nuremberg, there's a piece of rope waiting for that lug. He salted away plenty down here before the war, but we're not interested in his dough. We just want to loop those 13 knots around this tricky devil's neck and let him jump off into space. Everybody wanted him, but he slipped through the back door of Europe. Could be he's headed for these parts. Wonder whom he'll try to contact. Would you like to make a guess?
There you go with your guesses again.
Seems to me you'd feel awfully good if you squared yourself back home.
I'm satisfied here. Why would I want to go back?
Well, that little old lady back in New York. Aren't you going to answer her call for help?
What are you getting at?
They're trying to get her fortune out of her hands. They're trying to say she's insane.
You're lying.
Why don't you read the New York papers?
Show this man out. If you don't mind. This way, please.
Not at all.
If you're thinking about going back, they'll pick you up on that old raft and you spend the next 20 years in the jug sewing mail bags. You won't be much help to the old lady.
Have you been gabbing with that guy?
Not me. I just happened to overhear what you're talking about. Look, boss, down here you're an important guy. Well, look at the setup you got. A big paying business, it's a swell life, and a wonderful girl. Well, even if the old lady is crazy, you'd be screwier than she is if you went back.
Make a reservation for me on the 8 o'clock plane in the morning. I'm going to the States.
But, boss,
And get in touch with the manager of the Casa Lomita. Find out if Claire spent the weekend at the mountains. I'm going home to change. Call me there.
Okay.
Have you any idea how many toy trains are wrecked by fathers on Christmas Day? How difficult it is to work a railroad system if one is over 10 years old.
Yeah.
You see, one has to stay young.
I guess I'm getting too old, Miss Reed.
Yes, well, pour yourself a drink and make your report.
I'll take it a little later, if you don't mind. I got the dope here on your boy Mario.
Where is he now?
S.A., dear lady. South America. He's a lamster. Got a 20-year rap if he comes back to God's country.
Can't you talk English?
Well, our friend Mario, he stepped into a deal that was strictly from Limburger. You understand, he was in trouble about a certain deal, and, well, he got hot-tempered.
Yes, Mario was always hot-tempered.
Take my advice, sir, lady. You'd be better off if Michael or Mario never come back.
And who asked you for your advice, pray?
Sorry.
I pay you to get information, not to interpret it. Now, don't tell me you can't find Jonathan. A man like Jonathan doesn't just vanish into thin air. Hire 1,000 detectives if you need them to help you, but find him.
You're a mutter, all right. If even one of them comes back, you'd be the...
I don't care if Michael is ashamed to come back, or what Mario's past has been. And wherever Jonathan is, you must find him. They've got to be here on Christmas Eve. They're my boys when they need me. They need me.
Say, I had a kind of a tough time getting hold of the manager of that mountain place, but well, he says, Claire wasn't up there over the weekend.
You're sure?
Well, that's what the guy said. That's all I know.
Okay.
Your obstinacy has become quite trying. I dislike using persuasive methods, but you force me to do so. You know nothing about the beautiful Fräulein. Really. Oh, I'm tired of hearing you say that. Such a lovely girl. So wealthy. Together you must have had such wonderful times spending her money. You don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know where the money came from that built your magnificent nightclub. You shut your eyes and thought it just grew. Now you are going to the States, taking the rest of it with you. And she'll meet you there later, perhaps.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What a pity. Let me refresh your memory. I sent her here with $10 million in cash and jewels. One day, I told her I will come also to enjoy our fortune together. I have come. But the money, where has it gone? Has it legs? Has it wings? Has it?
How do I know?
Now, let's start afresh. Think carefully. What has she told you about our affairs?
Nothing. Look, Reichman, you can work me over, you can kill me. But how can I tell you something I don't know?
Bring her in. It was very nice of you to come, Fräulein. May I introduce you to...
Mario!
Oh, but of course. I had almost forgotten that you knew each other.
What is this? I'm on my way to your house to find out why you left the office and his strong-arm men picked me up. What's the score?
You animal.
Come now, Fräulein. If you had been more informative, this wouldn't have happened. I can be very persuasive.
Stop it, Gustav. He knows nothing about you, nothing about your money.
With two people as close as... Well, that's very difficult to believe.
Is all this true?
Yes.
A guy in a fancy uniform and a smooth line, and you fell for it. What a hero. Well, if that's what you want, you can have it.
Leave him alone, Gustav. I'll tell you about the money.
Oh, so? Now we're beginning to get somewhere.
Oh, darling, I was a fool. I didn't realize how rotten they were, how rotten he was. When I came to my senses, I swore the money would never get back to him. I told him so tonight.
I'm not interested in your sentiments, Fräulein.
Gustav, I'll make a bargain with you. If you'll let him go, I'll tell you where the money is.
Now you are sensible, my Liebchen.
But you promise.
Why not? He's no longer important. Well?
It's in a bank in Saint-Julie.
Saint-Julie?
Yes. Now, please cut him loose.
Oh, you are too impulsive. A charming trait, but impractical. First, I must have proof of what you say.
This is the key to the strong box. It's in the wardrobe at my house. You'll find the bank receipt there. Now cut him loose, please.
First, I must see the receipt. You heard the lady. Hurry.
You mean Mario must wait until that man returns?
Mario must wait.
Don't let him kid you. He isn't going to turn me loose.
To let you go ashore and notify the authorities? Of course, I could put you ashore somewhere along the coast.
But you won't.
But I won't.
But Gustave, you can't do this. You promised to let him go.
Promises, my dear lady, are the counterfeit currency that inferior people exact from each other when unsure of their own strength. Sit down. Tell the engineer to warm up the engines.
You mean you're sailing?
As soon as my man returns with your bank receipt.
You sure walked into that one.
Did I? Well, we'll settle this right now. You never had any intention of letting him go, did you?
The sea is a wide place, and it has no tongue. As for you, after you have turned my money back to me, perhaps.
Well, you won't find it that easy. Because I promised to tell you only where your money is, not who's going to get it.
Where is to get it, then?
The American occupation authorities in Berlin. That's where I went over the weekend, to Saint-Julie, to make final arrangements for sending the money back. I knew when he found out about it, my life would be worthless, but I tried to save you. That's why I left your office, to make you think the worst of me. Keep you out of this. All I wanted to do, all I could think of was to get right with myself, to settle my score.
Plug him up. Oh, yes, you are worrying about the charming Fräulein Claire. What will happen to her is something that I'm sure a clever man like you can well figure out. Sit down, please.
The engines are stopping.
Yes. Your friend is Versto, Fräulein. But when he tries to come in here, first you, then him. If the Germans have a fault, it is that sometimes perhaps they underestimate their enemies. It will not happen again.
Claire.
Darling, have I made myself right with you?
You bet you have.
Oh, so glad. Darling, hold me closer. Mario, I love you.
Claire.
Seen anybody that looks like him yet?
No, not even remotely like Jonathan.
There's more film, Miss Reed. Maybe one of them will be your little buckaroo.
Jonathan! That's Jonathan. Look, Williams, there he is.
Yes, madam, I see him. I see him.
Oh, my, now, doesn't he look fine?
Wonderful, madam, wonderful.
Jonathan.
Let us out of here.
Stay on him, Jonathan. Ride him, cowboy. Ride him, Jonathan. That's the boy. Get up off that ground, Jonathan, and ride him.
Shall I rewind, madam, and run it again?
We're going to run that 50 times.
Yes, madam.
What are you sitting there for? You found him, now go and get him. Hurry up, Williams, hurry up.
I'm rewinding it as fast as I can, madam.
Perfect, Williams. It's a perfect Christmas punch.
Thank you, madam. Oh, are there any further orders for Robert before we leave?
Robert. Remember, Robert, when Williams brings Mr. Jonathan to the car, you must conduct yourself as though he had never gone away.
Yes, ma'am. I even have the packet of cents and to give to him before he kisses you.
Well, he may not be ashamed of drinking now.
What are you up to?
We are meeting Mr. Jonathan, sir, at Grand Central Station.
Judge Alston, a very Merry Christmas to you.
Bless my soul, what a Christmas Eve.
My chauffeur has gone to the station to meet my son, Jonathan.
They'd better lead him blindfold past the saloons.
And what about the others?
Oh, they'll be here, I'm sure. Shall we drink a toast to their safe arrival?
Why, it's old Bill himself. Mr. Jonathan. How's Mom? Miss Matilda will be even better when she realizes how strong you are, sir. The car is...
Robert's still driving?
He insisted upon coming this afternoon, sir, in your honor.
Oh, then let's get him and have a little snort in his honor.
Robert has to stay with the car, sir.
Then we'll take him his share in a paper cup. Come on.
Sit down, Williams.
Got any label whiskey? Give us 2 glasses full with an extra and a big paper cup to take out.
It's against the law to take liquor off the premises, sir.
Oh. Hold on there, stranger. Keep pouring. Oh, that ain't for Robert. Go on and drink it, Williams. Need a little help?
Shall we go now, sir?
Oh, where'd we go? Liquor's good. Pretty scenery.
Miss Matilda would be alarmed, sir.
Oh, I forgot. Hey, partner. Keep the change. Come on, Williams.
Thanks. Who'll give me $2 for this priceless bassinet, when for all we know, some great American might have been rocked to sleep in it? Perhaps even George Washington.
$2.
$2 and 4 bits.
I bid $2 and 4 bits.
$5.
4 bits isn't $4. All you had to bid was $2 and 6 bits.
Going once for $5. Going twice for $5.
$5 and 2 bits.
$5 and 4 bits.
$5 and 6 bits.
It's yours.
Going once for 5, 6 bits. It's going twice for 5, 6 bits, and sold to the gentleman for $5.75.
Here's $6. Keep the 2 bits to spray you through.
Here's your priceless treasure, sir.
What's your hurry, ma'am? I want to give you this rockabye thing. Why, sure. I only spoke up like I did to keep someone else from rushing away from you at a higher price. Besides, I wanted to meet you.
Maybe you'll do, after all. Yes, I'll take a chance on you.
A chance on what? What's the matter, ma'am?
At 6 o'clock, I'm going to become a mother.
Mother?
And it's your fault.
My fault?
If I'm late.
Oh, you won't be late, ma'am. I'll take you.
Really, sir, your Aunt Matilda's waiting.
But, Williams, I can't leave the lady. She's about to have a baby.
Well, let's not be excited, sir. I've had 3 myself. Would you like us to call a policeman, madam?
A policeman? Are you afraid to take me there without a policeman?
Why, ma'am, I'll be glad to take you anyway.
But really, sir, your aunt, I mean, we can never explain this to her.
We haven't time to explain, Williams. I've got to get going.
Yes, we've got to get going. Quick, Williams, the car. Where do you wish to go?
128 West Meredith Street.
128 West Meredith Street.
Tell him to hurry.
I've always heard it ain't best to drive fast under these conditions.
But it's all set for 6 o'clock.
And where I come from, they don't go by the clock. They just sort of, take you by surprise, natural like.
I know. But stick with me, cowboy. This is something special.
Oh, sure. You know, you kind of had me wondering at first, but I guess I know now why you were so anxious to get that cradle. Won't you please take it from me as a gift to the little fellow?
Look, can't you make them hurry? I simply must be there on time or I'll...
Yes, ma'am.
Put the spurs to him, Robert. If you and your husband don't mind my saying it, ma'am, you're an awfully pretty little mare with
My
me.
husband? Oh, yes, my husband.
Thanks, stranger. You're kind of pretty yourself.
Maybe the fresh air will give you a little extra time.
Mr. Jonathan, be careful. She'll pin more things on you than she will on the baby.
Look, lady,
Please, not right here on the sidewalk.
Give it a real ring.
No, everything must be very discreet. It's quite an illegal proposition.
Maybe I've gone as far as I should go.
Are you going to abandon me now after things have gone this far?
Well,
Yes. Can I have a baby now and take it away with me?
I've heard of Indian squaws doing that, but
Who sent you?
does it make any difference?
Please forgive him, prospective father, highly nervous. Hadn't we better get inside? The doctor will be here in a moment.
I think you'd better relax on this couch. Oh.
Isn't it going to be wonderful? Papa,
What's this all about, Mama?
we've come to adopt a baby. You must pretend to be my husband.
Pretend? Well, that ain't hard.
We must be a childless, loving couple, or they'll never let us adopt one.
In that game you were playing at the station, that was just,
Yes. Oh, please, play it my way, just 5 minutes. Don't you trust me?
Sure I do. Just as long as you don't try to pin down my gun hand.
Please, let's be a loving couple. My name's Jean.
And mine's Jonathan.
There are hopeless babies in this house, lying in their cribs defenseless. Every day it's some baby's turn to be sold across the counter to the highest bidder.
It's a shame a girl like you has to buy one. Did you pick me out because I look like...
I picked you out because you look the part of a big, tender-hearted hero.
Ain't you putting too much jam on the bread?
No, it's all in fun.
I'm not complaining.
I'm only doing this in case somebody's spying.
I don't mind it under any circumstances. Care to make it a lifetime job?
Now, don't let being a prospective father go to your head, stranger.
Good evening. Howdy.
Now, don't be bashful, Jonathan.
We'd like to look at some of your yearlings.
Who sent you here?
We were told to say Max sent us to see Dr. Bunyan.
I'm Dr. Bunyan.
You see how it is, Doc. We've been married now 5 or 6 months, and we don't have a single baby.
Oh, he means 5 or 6 years.
I'm afraid I don't like your looks, madam.
She doesn't like your looks either. But we didn't come to adopt you.
Well, you threatened me in my own house?
He's so quick-tempered, Doctor. It's because he's never had any children.
I bid you good evening.
Raise the hands to the perpendicular. I came here to buy my little wife a baby, and by golly, I'm going to buy one. Come on, honey, let's go to the corral and look at his stock.
Jonathan, this is no way to go about adopting a baby. What makes you so trigger-happy? Put up that cannon before I take it away from you and spank your little hands.
I'm sorry, Doc, but you know how it is with expectant fathers.
I admit it's a little irregular, but we're prepared to make it worth your while.
100 white-faced heifers for one little pink-faced cat.
Well, right now we have only 3 baby girls up for adoption. But you understand everything must be completely legal before we entrust you with a child.
Well, you talk like a horse thief.
Jonathan! Please, Doctor.
Well, if you'll follow me, I'll let you look at our babies.
Oh, Jonathan.
Why, hello, Blue Eyes.
What happened to your hair?
Oh. Why, it's time you were weaned and given the run of the range.
Oh, they're all adorable.
Don't touch the children, please.
Oh, that's what they need. Someone like her to love them and kiss them.
That's no way to hold a baby.
Ooh, but the cattleman out my way wouldn't give to have you around. Any reduction if I take the whole herd right here at the railhead?
You can't even take one without the proper adoption papers.
Well, I haven't seen any brand on them. Where's your bill of sale?
Oh, I told you not to mind him, Doctor. He's frustrated. If we pay the adoption costs and leave money to cover expenses for the necessary steps you have to take...
Don't get me wrong, sir. I feel sure that this lady is an investigator for a busybody humane society, that she brought you along as a stooge. Out of respect for this man's sincerity, his obvious wholesomeness, you're both free to go before I call the police.
Is what he says true? Are you working for the police?
Well, in a way I am.
Can you prove it?
Here's a fire pass, a police card, and the rest of my credentials.
Now, let's see your doctor's papers.
Well, if you'll come with me, I'll be glad to show you my credentials. This way, sir.
They have a car waiting outside.
I'll take care of it.
Operator, get me the police.
You nosy little rat, you.
What are you trying to do, murderer?
Come on, get her out of here.
What's the matter, kids? Now, Brown Eyes, take it easy. Everything's going to be fine. Fine. Gene. Gene? Gene?
Look, girls, I can't leave you here. I know of 3 other kids that were fished out of a joint like this. What do you say we all stick together?
That's the girl, Brown Eyes.
All right, boys, take it in.
Why, Williams, that preposterous doctor, sir, tried to sell us a load of clams. So we had to leave, Mr. Jonathan. Then we took the liberty of proceeding on the assumption that you would be leaving by the back way.
Ah, good work, Williams.
What have you in the basket, sir?
Babies, Williams, babies.
In the plural, I've suddenly become the father of 3 children.
Take a look upstairs, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Find the light switch.
Quick, Williams, let's get out of here. Certainly, sir. We shall take a powder.
happened here, miss?
I came here to investigate a baby racket.
All on your own?
Has someone looked after the babies?
You're the only baby around here.
I found these two running down the street, Sergeant. We thought you might want to talk to them.
Heel. That cheap heel stole my babies.
Miss Matilda, it's been an hour and a half. My grandchildren will never forgive me if I don't help them trim the tree.
You can't go until my 3 boys arrive. I'm sure they'll...
Philip, you must take good care of your Aunt Matilda in this terrible disappointment. And sometime after the holidays, why, we'll,
Jonathan.
I got here, Mom.
Jonathan.
Oh, that's nothing, Mom. I just cut myself while shaving.
Oh, there's just no knowing what my boy's been through to get here.
Look, Mom, let's don't stand here on the sidewalk. Let's go into the saloon. A real Merry Christmas to you. Same to you, Philip.
since I have an absorbing interest in this youngster, will someone tell me what I'm to do with it next?
Oh, let me have it.
So what do you think of a family? All girls.
Wonderful, Jonathan. Wonderful. Edith.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, the darling. Robert, you'll have to go to the drugstore and get some formula and lots of nursing bottles right away. Oh, sweetheart. And then, Edith, you sterilize those bottles thoroughly. We'll put them right to bed upstairs in the old nursery.
It'll be like old times, except there'll be 3 little fillies in the old corral. I'm sorry I'm late, Mom, but I had to swing my rope around those 3 little strays.
Jonathan, this is Judge Alston.
This is not the first time I've been face to face with a judge.
Now, tell us all about your 3 lovely little girls.
Well, Mom, it was this way. The only woman I ever loved was a girl named Tricky. She got killed bulldogging a steer at the Pendleton Roundup. And when I went to bury her, my shovel hit a gold mine, a vein of pure ore, 3 feet thick. Now that I've struck it rich and got me a big 30-room house, I don't want to get lonesome, so I'm back here to pick up 10 or 15 head of children. Orphan children.
Orphan children.
Have you the proper adoption papers for these children?
Can't they grow up without them?
Yeah. I'm very happy one of your sons got here. But, madam, now I must be going.
There he is. Still wearing those phony cowboy clothes. Where are my babies?
Well, aren't you interested in what happened to me with my skull broken open?
No.
Aren't you old Isaiah Bradford's granddaughter?
Miss Matilda, I'm very sorry to intrude, but...
Why, Jean, are you mixed up in this?
I'm glad you're on the trail, too, Judge Alston. There's the meanest man in the world, a baby thief.
Oh, now look here, Jean. The judge knows all about my coming here to adopt a small herd of children to take to my place out west.
Oh, why, you're not going to believe that, Judge Alston. You weren't even thinking of babies when I picked you up.
Why, honey, you didn't pick me up. I just took you along for the ride. Going up there to pick up a few little mavericks and put my brand on them. Just out of gratitude for the way Aunt Matilda picked up her 3 little strays.
Tell this madman, Judge, they're my babies. I need them for evidence.
Evidence? What evidence?
I was on an assignment for the Welfare Association. Adopt a child, pay for it, and crack open that phony baby adoption racket. But I needed a husband. And he looked so big and strong, and... What did you do with my babies?
They're safe in bed upstairs in the nursery.
Oh. Well, thank you for bringing them here. I'm sorry if I was a little rough on you, but you see, it just so happens I'm interested in babies.
Why, ma'am, if you're that much interested in babies, it's time we get acquainted.
You see how it is, Judge? And he's the best of the three.
Now, look, miss, you've got to make up your mind.
I have.
But the babies, what about the babies?
The whole thing is in Judge Alston's hands now, Sergeant.
They're nuts. Just plain nuts.
I beg your pardon?
Why don't you go in there where it's warm with the rest of the screwballs?
Because I like it here. I've been waiting to see if you'd show up, you bingo player.
Now, Anne, not in front of Aunt Matilda's house.
Aunt Matilda, haven't you done enough damage? If you go in there now, you'll ruin that old lady. Besides, they'll throw the book at you.
Well, book or no book, it's Christmas Eve.
If you go in there, I'll tear you to pieces.
All right, tear me to pieces. But in here, where it's warm.
Mr. Michael.
Miss Reed, I'm very sorry, but I can't wait any longer.
But you've only seen one of my boys, and you promised to meet all three of them.
But, madam...
Michael. Michael. Oh.
I hope you don't mind my muscling in.
Oh. Michael. Judge Alston, this is Michael, my second son.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm late, sir. Merry Christmas, Philip.
I didn't think you'd have the nerve.
And you, my dear?
I'm Ann Nelson. I came here because...
Because Anne is my fiancée.
Fiancé.
Yes, I asked her to marry me in Philip's office.
And very good stock, too. We need new blood in the family. Philip, you didn't tell me you'd seen Michael.
I didn't want to break your heart, Aunt Matilda. He bilked me out of 10,000 cash, besides floating $75,000 worth of rubber.
Yeah, and speaking of rubber, have you still got that factory 3,000 miles up the Amazon and that rayon plant in Canada? You know, I spent $10,000 trying to find those. Philip, you should be ashamed stealing money from Aunt Matilda.
Dreamboat! Michael, I want you to stop it. There's no rayon factory in Canada. And there's no rubber plantation. I've known what Philip was doing all the time. But it's none of your business.
That's right, Aunt Matilda. Make Michael stop picking on me.
Judge Alston, if Philip had had the ability to go out in the world and make his own way, as my three boys have done, I wouldn't kick up all this fuss about turning everything over to him.
Mike.
Johnny. Gee, I'm glad you made it.
And look what I collected on the way.
This is my son, Michael.
Oh, how do you do?
Miss Nelson, Miss Bradley.
Well, you're just a baby.
Oh, we have 3 children upstairs. Listen. Listen. Do you hear that music?
What music?
How Mario loves that song.
Aunt Matilda sometimes has bells ringing in her head.
Mario is here. I suppose I don't hear church bells either.
Yes, now you do.
I'll go meet Mario myself.
I'm beginning to think you all need guardians.
Mr. Mario.
Merry Christmas, Williams.
Thank you, sir.
I figured you'd head straight for here.
You took an awful chance, Mario.
Let's go.
A little later, it's Christmas Eve.
Thanks. Come on in. I want you to meet a great lady. How are you, beautiful?
You came here. You came to me in spite of all the obstacles. Let me look at you. How are you, darling Mario?
I couldn't be better. How are you? That's the thing.
Fine. Just fine.
I'm Joe Bland, Miss Reed. My partner wanted me to meet you. But we have to leave for Washington tonight.
It was very good of you to come, Mr. Bland. Won't you please join us?
Thank you.
I didn't think he'd dare. Hello, Philip.
Judge Alston, this is my son, Mario.
How do you do? How do you do, sir?
And look who's here.
Jonathan. Glad to see you.
Well, glad to see you. Mario, I want you to meet Jean.
How do you do? Well, Johnny, you still got an eye for him.
He starts wearing blinders tomorrow.
Michael.
Good to see you, Mario.
How are you?
Fine. This is Anne, the future Mrs. Brooks.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Shall we all have some Christmas cheer? Children, this is Mr. Bland.
How do you do?
Mario Williams made this punch from that fine old New Orleans recipe you sent me.
Yes, Mario. This is one of your memories of New Orleans. A pleasant one for a change. But I have evidence here of some unpleasant memories.
Oh, yes. Philip's always kept close tabs on me.
Oh, come, children, please. This is Christmas Eve. And my dream has come true. All three of my boys are here. And here's a Christmas punch.
I'd like to talk to you, Philip. Now, privately.
Judge Alston, you know that diploma I got from the scrub women was for giving them 6 little clubhouses.
Is that so?
Well, I'm going to give them 6 more. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, Mario.
Shut up.
Philip, 10 years ago, I took a rat for you for that deal of yours in New Orleans.
But, Mario...
And you ran out on me. Left me holding the dirty end of a deal that I didn't even know you made. You had Aunt Matilda right in the middle of it.
But, Mario, Aunt Matilda...
Yes, Aunt Matilda. But I made it my business to get back here in time to stop you.
But you're not going to turn me in now.
I wouldn't let you hurt her 10 years ago. I'm not going to let you hurt her now. No, I'm not going to turn you in.
Thank you, Mario. I knew you wouldn't.
Philip, we're both leaving town tonight. But you're going first. Where's your hat and coat?
And I still don't see how my partner ever got out of it alive. It was really the most...
Sorry, Mother, but Philip was called away unexpectedly.
Oh.
Well, I must run along. Good night, and Merry Christmas.
Good
Good night, Mr. Bland, and thank you.
Pick you up later, fella.
I'll be here.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Bland has told us all about Mario, and Jonathan lives in a gold mine, and Michael has found himself a fine wife. And now I want to wish a very wonderful old lady a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and the same to you, Judge Alston.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. A broken-down rodeo rider who had to sell his saddle to buy a Christmas dinner. And a Beau Brummel who'll probably wind up in a garret, just as the original Playboy did. And a very important man from South America, on his way to Washington to close the biggest deal in his life.
I told my partner he'd meet a great lady.
Dinner is served.
Thank you, William. Well, run along, children, run along. You heard what William said. I know now, Mario, that you covered up for Philip in New Orleans. But I'm sure everything is going to turn out right. Mario, dear, and children, a toast. Merry Christmas to my son, to my daughters, to my grandchildren. A Merry Christmas to all.
Thank you.